questions. Are there any questions?
Mr. President.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. President, my question without notice is to the Minister for Roads, Maritime and Freight. In light of your government's response today to the Russell report, nearly 1,000 days after you received it, do you accept full responsibility for the distress, hardship and financial loss to families as a result of your government's compulsory acquisition process?
That's a bit negative. I thank the honourable member for his question. And the tenure of his question would indicate...
No, you mean the tenor.
I do. Would be that they've had no role in property acquisition. Well, that's probably true because they didn't do anything.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order. The Minister will resume his seat. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
Mr. President, the honourable Minister is debating the question, and he ought not do that. He's not being generally relevant. I ask you to call him to order and to address the question as asked.
To the point of order.
The Honourable Peter Phelps on the point of order.
The Minister was clearly making general statements and indeed positing our reaction as a government in relation to previous reactions of previous governments, and so I think it's entirely within order to compare the efficacy of our administration with previous administration.
There's no point of order. The Minister has the call.
You're no longer whipped, Peter.
Mr. President, I was about to indicate that during the 16 years they did very little property acquisition. And he talks about 1,000 days. Mr.
Nearly 1,000 days.
Nearly 1,000 days. Well, Mr. President, I'll talk about something beyond 5,000 days. 5,840 days.
Duncan.
Point of order. Point of order.
That's 16
Order. The Minister will resume his seat. Minister will resume his seat.
Mr. President, the Minister...
The Leader, order.
Come on, Duncan, just
the Leader of the Opposition.
admit you're guilty and resign.
I call the Honourable Walt Secord to order for the first time.
Right now.
Honourable members... yes, quite right, for the first time. Honourable members should not interrupt while the Chair is ruling. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Minister was again debating the question and was not being generally relevant.
No point of order. The Minister has the call.
Mr. President, the opposition wants to use the term 1,000 days. I use the term 5,840 days. Mr. President, the existing terms of legislation that we use for property acquisition is the same one that they had for 5,840 days. So when they bring crocodile tears into this place, you've got to ask the question, what were they doing for 5,840 days? And the answer is nothing. Exactly.
Order.
You spent $500,000 and you didn't lay a track of railway lines. Mr. President.
Order, please.
Will you take responsibility?
Mr. President.
I call the Honourable Penny Sharp to order for the first time.
Mr. President, property acquisitions are an unfortunate but times necessary part of building critical infrastructure. Since 2011, this government has embarked on the biggest infrastructure building program in the state's history. New and improved roads, motorways, metro railway lines, trams, hospitals, schools, and the list goes on and on. The government commissioned Mr. David Russell...
Order. There is far too much chatter on the government benches. I can't hear the Minister give an answer.
Mr. President, the government commissioned Mr. David Russell SC to review the land acquisition just terms...
I call the Honourable Penny Sharp to order for the second time.
Act 1991. The same legislation, as I indicated earlier, the previous Labor government operated under for 16 long years, or reminding them, 5,840 days. The Premier also asked the Customer Service Commissioner, Mr. Michael Pratt AM, to conduct a review of how the process could be improved. In response to both the Russell Review and the Customer Service Commissioner's recommendations, the government will introduce legislative, operational and administrative measures which will see a significant improvements in transparency, fairness and additional compensation. We continue to work with affected residents to reach agreeable negotiated positions, as opposed to resorting to compulsory acquisitions. For example, for the M4 East upgrade, 183 properties require acquisition, of which 163, or 89%, were acquired by agreement. Some of the key legislative improvements include a fixed 6 months negotiation period before compulsory acquisition, except by agreement. This will provide landowners with greater certainty, additional time to make decisions, and we've increased the amount of the solatium from $27,235.
The minister's time has expired.
Mr. President.